I thought this to myself as I stood amidst others during my morning commute. There was a long line for free legal advice this cold morning in front of the Public Service Government Branch Advice. The doors weren't even open yet. I decided to study law once I became aware of these people. People I hadn't even seen before then. Investment failed. I was separated from Agana, changed the fates of all those who supported me. I felt nothing but shame having selected that path. It's true that I wanted to help those who had nowhere to go, but the Free Legal Counsel Government Branch Office, where the temperature in the dome had been lowered and there was not enough electricity. But there was something more that I had to think about. I agreed with the watchman as usual and began walking through the branch office, which was as empty as it was before opening hours. My place of work was right at the top of the steps. It was quiet as usual. Almost nobody came to work before office hours. I say almost because there was an exception. Working with documents practically pressed against her face as if she were sleeping, was Reina. Good morning. Reina gave a small shriek when I greeted her. She panicked as she gathered up things on top of her desk and shoved them into a drawer. Realizing I was the one who called out to her, she looked so drained that she might have just fell into pieces right then. What were you doing? The types of things that someone as timid as Reina would hide didn't amount to much. Either searching for a new job, writing down a personal mail, or something like studying for the investment test. I didn't mind I was about to settle into my chair when my eyes just happened to fall on it. It was the application that I pushed down here from those immigrants. That's... Huh? You're submitting it. Reina didn't look at me. She fell into silence for a good 10 seconds as she gathered up the documents. Then, looking straight at me, she answered as she forced herself to smile. Are you going to stop me? I should have had difficulty answering this, but I already reached my own conclusions. After being lectured by Risa and hearing Chris, I believed I should be willing to forgive myself. No, I won't. Actually, I was thinking of telling you to let it through. Reina looked at me with a baffled expression. No way. Really? You're lying. Reina said that, but at the same time... Yeah, this is messed up punctuation. I'll save my thoughts on all this until the last video because it's really noticeable. Reina said that, but at the same time she had a bit of a smile on her face. But if you're serious, then I'm happy. Really. Reina was still staring straight at me. Her eyes had a faint mischievous glint to them. They were the sort of eyes you'd show to a friend you were doing mischievous things with. I thought all night, and I believe we should help out those in need, even if it's against the rules. Really, I have no objections. Actually, it's not that I was doubting you, but doubting my own feelings, my report. Her smile showed that she was slightly embarrassed. Seeing that worried me, given how cherubic she usually was. I think I need to think about what you said, too. About rules and regulations. Not that. About how you're always hardest on yourself when it comes to your own choices. I suppose I say something good every so often. I thought it was right, and that's why I understood that you also need to act on how you felt. She looked down at the document in her hand and narrowed her eyes affectionately as she spoke. It's very reassuring that someone else agrees with my decision, Haru. What? Thank you. Reina looked up from the document and smiled happily at me. Risa's kindness had strength behind it, but there was naivety behind Reina's. I thought that to survive on the moon, you needed that intense conviction like Risa had. I never doubted that before, but now I thought that might be wrong. I had one worry about taking up Eleanor's offer, and that was that Reina would end up being alone in her fight if I quit. Would she be fine without me here? I was worried, but it might have just been that I've been underestimating Reina. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to try to edit that screech out. I don't know how well it's going to actually come out. I'm hoping it didn't actually start while I was still reading. But there may be a bit of it in the part before the break. So on that, I'm afraid there isn't really much I can do. Actually, Haru, what is it? Did something good happen to you last night? What? I was about to take my seat, but I stopped. When I looked over at Raina, she was smiling over at me. You have quite a relieved look on your face. Huh. I touched my cheeks without thinking. This was a face that couldn't express itself even if I tried. I couldn't imagine that was possible. Raina looked at my face intently and nodded once again. Yeah, it really does. It's like you're not obsessing over something right now. Did you sleep well or something? Raina smiled innocently. I shrugged my shoulders as I took my seat. I'm amazed by my superior's sharp-sightedness. My, how rude. Well, I guess you could say. Yes? I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but it feels like there's a turning point coming up in my life. That's... I turned my chair around, making sure there was nobody else in the room. I may quit my job here. What? Depending on how things work out, though. That's exactly what do... It's actually pretty good. I could end up with a job with good profits and pay. Nothing dangerous, is it? Sorry, but quitting, you say? Returning your scholarship money and leaving the dorm? I couldn't imagine something like that. I know what you're trying to say. It's from a former contact type of thing. Former? The rest of society would probably think, what is this 20-year-old college kid saying? I felt just a bit proud of the me who failed 4 years ago and how much he had accomplished. So, it might be a bit brazen to say, but I did have one concern if I quit this job. Concern? Raina repeated that and tilted her head, wondering what it might have been. Then she realized it. Haru, do you mean about me? I can't say it so clearly. You just did. How rude. I do know the gist of things around here is bad, but before you came here, I was doing things just fine on my own. I'll be just fine. Yeah, I thought the same a bit ago, too. Sheesh. Well, I do know lots of people worry about me. I may be slow, but even I know it. That's how beloved by others you are. My, how flattering. First time hearing that from you. I didn't mean it as flattery, though. I said that, making Raina feel like she was being made fun of even more. But at the end, she gave a little sigh and chuckled. It's fine. This is my life. But maybe after a little while, I'll be able to quit too. Huh? Raina looked at me and her mouth curled up mischievously. Then, after glancing at me, she rolled her eyes around as if she wasn't sure of something. Then she reached over to her purse. I didn't intend to tell anyone, actually. About what? Well, what it could be. She took out a small pouch from inside her purse and dug into it. Something I never expected came out of that cheap, durably constructed synthetic leather pouch. I'm always a bit tense talking about it. I'm pretty close to reaching my goal. Then I'll be able to leave here whenever I want. Then I think I can continue for about 5 more years. I was dumbfounded as Raina showed me her hand proudly. Her fingernails were round and childish without any coloring, and I didn't like she was taking care of her hands. But even still, that glimmering ring on her ring finger made Raina appear like a princess guarded by a knight able to overcome any obstacle. So you see, Haru. Yes? I straightened my back without thinking. Everything I had assumed about Raina all this time was crushed embarrassingly. Don't worry. Go ahead and quit. This is the moon. It's the place where everyone chases their dreams. As I was a working scholarship student, Raina was my direct superior. When I began working, I was always dejected, wondering which of us was actually in charge. But at that moment, I saw the girl in front of me as my superior. Understood? Thank you very much. I bowed my head, Raina removed her ring, then laughed a little, lifting up her shoulders. See you tomorrow, then. When the workday was over, she left me with her usually cheerfully farewell. Then she disappeared into the hustle and bustle of the lunar surface with steps that were light even to the moon's lower gravity. I never even thought that she'd found a guy, let alone was engaged. I felt a tickle deep in my gut that made it feel like this face of mine could smile. This was probably happiness. So there were stories like this on the moon as well. Just that was enough to make me feel like I could go on. To believe there was such a story waiting for me when I was on the verge of changing jobs. It seemed too perfect, and a bit scary. All the things Risa said were probably correct. I couldn't let this chance slip away. I believed that my chance was right here, right now. Watching Raina go off, I made my way down a different street from usual. Around Newton City, there was a tide-like ebb and flow of human traffic. In the morning, they head towards Newton City, and at night, they scatter to the surrounding housing districts. I moved opposite of that flow, heading towards Newton City by train as I stared into the artificial sunset simulated by the lunar capital's dome. Long ago, I used to look at Newton City every weekend in awe. The thought that I would succeed here and in a few years strut down the streets. It was so nostalgic that I didn't even feel embarrassed about it. I had a feeling that I understood the reason Risa treated me like a kid and was so affectionate towards me. However, I hadn't stepped inside Newton City since then. You can see Newton City skyscrapers if you are pretty much anywhere with a view, and that was more than enough. I had no intention of taking part in the battles being waged there, nor did I think I'd ever be involved again. It had been years since I'd gone to the central station, yet it hadn't changed at all since then. The shark is believed to have evolved as far as it ever will, have remained the same for tens of thousands of years, and the lunar surface may be the same. Yet I did feel it was showing its age a bit. I had a reason to come to the central station crowded with people. By going to the most famous meeting spot at the central station, the statue of E.J. Rochberg, the founder of our most prestigious bank, I was able to quickly pick out the person I was looking for. Haru. Yes, I'm a little late. No, I get lost really easily, so I thought I'd come a bit early. Will you be alright leading me there? I'll be fine, I think. Well, let's get going. It's a bit of a walk. That intensity that Chris had shown me in the church was nowhere to be seen. She was her usual timid self as she started walking. Oh boy, I thought. I felt that I had no room to judge Risa for thinking Chris was even more adorable like this. Chris led the way, minding my pace, and we soon came to Schrodinger Street. This wasn't just the greatest financial district on the lunar surface, but on Terra as well. I stopped at the same old golden cat as nostalgic. I stopped at the same old golden cat as nostalgic and sardonic memories filled my head. I misread that at first. And what are these dots down here? Because a little while ago only the first one was filled in, now the second one is. Is this like keeping track of our game progress or something? It felt like this cunning-eyed cat had lost weight compared to 4 years ago. People petting her might have worn her down. The lunar surface was experiencing unprecedented economic prosperity, and there was a boom in the stock market. Even people like Raina were buying stocks, so there must be quite a few who think they'd be graced by good fortune. Isn't Annie so cute? That's its name. It would seem that it derived its name from money, so it seems fitting. And they should have named it Lucky or something. That's a dog's name, though. True. As we were having that conversation, people had been continually coming from near and far to pet the cat on its head. I walked along the lamplit Schrodinger Street at dusk with Chris as if we were taking a relaxing stroll. This area, which was the eye of the storm, eclipsing the entirety of Terra in terms of greed, appeared quite normal as we walked through it. However, that may have been because this was usually the time people returned home. In front of us, a white-gloved limousine driver awaited their employer in front of a luxurious-looking building. That's when I realized that this was a pretty commonplace sight in this area. This really was the place where money talked. I felt tense when I became aware of that, as if I had slipped down the stairs with my heart thumping hard. I paused and started walking again after taking a few deep breaths. It's nothing, I'm fine. If this was 4 years ago, then I probably would have taken off running to hide the fact that my heart was racing. Following Chris's lead as we passed the busiest areas, the quality of the buildings dropped. There were no more lobbies in which you could see hanging glass panel chandeliers. Things started becoming more simplistic. If we kept going this way for a few miles, we'd leave the boundaries of the Noon City area. The housing quality would shoot back up since they'd have a nice view. Our destination was located in the area between there and the central station, which was like a little valley where the sun didn't reach. Speaking fondly, this place was bustling, with a hungry motivation about it. Speaking less fondly, it was a place where no one would have had any hope of getting ahead. It's the 22nd basement floor. Passing through the automatic doors, we entered a dreary lobby. There were no decorations to speak of, and a long list of offices were listed on the side of the elevator. Just in case you missed that typo. Noon City's ground level is over 300 feet above the surface. Anything below that is considered underground. The 22nd floor where we were headed was quite close to the surface, which means the rent was pretty up there. We entered an elevator bearing the logo of Emerald Industries, the Moon's dominant construction company. From the panel sporting nearly 100 buttons, Chris automatically tapped the one for the 22nd floor as if she already knew where it was. I ran that through my mind as the door slid shut with a whoosh. I'd heard that the size of buildings was restricted by the efficiency of the elevator. Having an inefficient elevator system, yet trying to make the building as tall as possible wastes an immense amount of time when heading up or down it. So there's actually a specialist who assembles programs for how fast an elevator should go, how many should be on a floor, which should have express, and which should stop at every floor. It turned out the skyscrapers on the moon were so high because, thanks to the lower gravity, the elevators can move at quite high speeds. It seemed that Emerald Industries had a secret algorithm for that. However, elevators that are too fast have the problem of you floating upwards if you don't hold on to something when they were slowed down. I sort of anticipated reaching zero gravity, but we ended up reaching the 22nd floor without anything happening. When the door opened, we arrived in a rather bland space. It seemed that any building constructed over 20 years ago resembled the ones in the outer district. A low ceiling, cream-colored walls, and beige doors. A crude, outdated vending machine hummed, and a poorly built door slammed in the distance. There were windows, but little light seeped in as most were blocked. There was also a guy who commented that it felt like an underground world since the building was surrounded by other buildings on all sides. It was true. When I tried to look past them, I couldn't make out anything outside. The only thing I could see was a guy in a dress shirt in the next building staring, death-like, into a display. The outer district would be better. After getting used to it, the mood here is calming. I could say it was pitch black because they didn't pay their electricity bill, but quite a few lights were off, probably to conserve electricity. There was a floor map partway through it, and I'd probably still get lost after a while. Chris must have been quite used to being here already, as there was no hesitation in her steps and soon stopped in front of one of the rooms. Schweitzer Investing. Originally it was an investment bank, but there were lingering regrets for naming it as such. My, you're here early. We were about to knock on the door when a voice called out to us. Chris and I were startled and turned toward where it had come from. A bearded gentleman who looked like something pulled straight out of an early 20th century movie looked over at us. Good evening, Mr. Legoff. Good evening, Miss Chris. That would mean this must be Mr. Haru Kawara. I may have been the king of emotionless expressions, but a poker face was something completely different. A poker face was a skill, weaving traces of false emotion into a blank expression in order to produce a greater effect. The gentleman lowered his eyelids as if evaluating goods, then raised his chin slightly. I'm Haru Kawara. Greetings. However, introductions will be for later. Madam is waiting within. Beyond the open door was a bland square room with 4 cheap-looking steel desks facing each other. Much like in Reese's old room, books were displayed in a glass cupboard. In one of the corners there was a digital display. These displays were for automatically cycling through photographs or interior images one after the other. Except it seemed these weren't photos or images. They appear to be some sort of newspaper articles of all things. Tombstone advertisements. It was a type of cenotaph for investment banks when they issued securities. Was this to not forget the glorious days of yore? Or as the name Tombstone suggested, as a metaphorical gravestone? As I pondered on that, a knock echoed out from the far door within the room. Madam? Miss Chris. The elderly butler beckoned to the lady. I was now confident in my first assessment of Eleanor, that she really was a noble. One moment, please. Except what I heard from the other side of the door was not a noble and refined voice, but an irate one. As you heard. We nodded in response to Legoff, then waited. Sorry to keep you. The phone conference went longer than expected. Opening the door, Eleanor came out. I extended the best courtesies I could while pondering the phrase phone conference. Good evening. When I said that, Eleanor's face suddenly lit up, and she spoke as if without thinking. Haru. Eleanor uttered my name without any reservations before the elderly gentleman could properly introduce me. She then seemed to realize how brazen what she said had been. Is what I should call you, right? She appeared slightly embarrassed as she inquired. Anything is fine. It was no longer as titillating as before when Risa would call me that. I was more interested in the room that Eleanor came out of than that. What I saw in that brief instant was a dimly lit space, with only the display for illumination. What that light had illuminated appeared to be a mountain of trash without anywhere to walk. Right after that moment, Eleanor gracefully shut the door. I am quite pleased you came today. I had no idea how serious she was, but Eleanor held her skirt daintily, and with a bend of her knees, curtsied. She was probably quite serious since the gentleman next to her had such... let me just redo this one. She was probably quite serious since the gentleman next to her had a straight posture, and kept nothing but a serious expression. Were you surprised by how small it is? She gave a smile as she inquired, but it wasn't out of modesty, as she was in a position where she could easily write off 100,000 ruble checks. Oh, yeah. Legoff has implored for a more spacious room, but fixed expenditures must be reduced to their limits. The gentleman cleared his throat audibly in response to Eleanor's words. Also, does it not feel as if we're starting from nothing? Although I didn't respond with anything, it was evident that Eleanor was quite the lady, with a capital L. I would like to say it's time for introductions once again, however, not all have arrived. My, is Marco not here yet? Ever the gentleman, Legoff took out his pocket watch, which was just impractical on the moon as he said that. If he was wearing a monocle, he could totally pass for a character out of a movie. Yet, it does seem like he has arrived. Right after Legoff spoke, the sound of running footsteps could be heard from the other side of the door, which he opened just as it was being knocked on. Good day. 6 p.m. on the dot, 5 minutes late. No way! Whether or not there was a penalty, this flat cap-wearing young man dropped his hands to his knees out of exhaustion and dejected. He didn't have many years on him, maybe 12 or 13. As I looked down on him, this boy, probably called Marco, noticed I was looking at him and looked up at me. A guest? We were just about to introduce him. When Eleanor responded to Marco, he straightened his posture even more upright than Legoff. Thus, as everyone is present, I shall start with introductions. This is it. When I spoke abruptly, Eleanor's smile became a laugh as she tilted her head slightly. Does it surprise you? A bit. This is the entire group as of now. I looked over at Eleanor, then Legoff, then Marco, then Chris, and then back at Eleanor. I scratched my chin. This was the entire force Eleanor was leading. It really was a surprise to see someone who could toss around 100 grand checks assemble this few. To put it bluntly, this was a group of amateurs. We need only expand when necessary. And we will. Eleanor chuckled at Marco's words. Legoff wore an expression that said he might sigh at any moment, but stayed silent. Chris wore a buoyant smile that didn't show off often when at the church. It was a devil-maker kind of look. If Risa saw that, she'd probably make the sign of the cross. Then let's go ahead with our introductions. Firstly, I am Eleanor Schultz-Schweitzer, 29th head of the Schweitzer family. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Haru. Nice to meet you. I exchanged a delicate handshake with Eleanor, then she looked over at Legoff. This is Jean Legoff. He is the chief executive of Schweitzer Investing Operations Ethics and Chris's superior. Operational ethics? Maybe you understand if I said we are not to invest in dangerous weapons or tobacco. Understood. Jean Legoff. I've been assigned directly from the 27th head to take full responsibility of Madame's investments. His dark brown eyes were dull like amber, with a peculiar intensity to them. When I shook his hand, I could see that age has seeped into it, but he still had a firm grip. Legoff has been entrusted with my family's finances since my grandfather's generation. He was once a private Swiss broker, and in regards to the Schweitzer house's money, he knows even the amount of allowance I receive. Indubitably. Tradition, etiquette, everything not present on the lunar surface was located in the mountains of Europe. That was probably the reason why those two stood out so much. And this is Marco Shania. The boy, stiff from nervousness, stared straight up at the ceiling as if something was there. Eleanor appeared slightly startled, and Legoff did not try to hide his frown as her introduction was interrupted. Eleanor just knelt down quietly, nudging Marco's head, and spoke in almost a whisper. Marco, hat. Your hat. Oh. Eleanor smiled gleefully as Marco took off his flat cap in a fluster. This would be Schweitzer Investing's executive secretary, Marco Shania. I'm Marco Shania. Executive secretary was quite a big deal, was making a big deal out of it. He was basically a gopher. Nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. When I shook Marco's hand, I thought, oh? You're Lunarian. Yes, that I am. Marco appeared baffled, then looked over at Eleanor. Eleanor was slightly surprised as well. How can you tell? I just can. I let go of Marco's hand as I said that. Actually, there was a slight difference between Terrans and Lunarians. That sensation when you shook their hand felt somewhat precarious. I heard you were Lunarian as well, Haru. That's right. I was born on the day my mom arrived on the moon as part of the first colony. You're like a piece of living history on the lunar surface. That's only if what's here is history. I looked over at Marco after saying that. He was giving a warm, full smile, even as he was wincing at my emotionless expression. Marco was a messenger boy from my previous company. However, for this endeavor, he's volunteering. Yeah, I'm going to do my best. Eleanor chuckled as Marco stood up as straight as possible as he said that. Legoff wasn't laughing, but I knew the reason why. Marco was smitten with Eleanor. Also, you already know Chris. This means I get to be Haru's senior. I guess it would, though I'm not sure yet. I looked over at Eleanor, and she smiled with what seemed like unrivaled confidence. But, well, my regards. I hope we can work together. Now I shall introduce you to everyone. This is Yoshiharu Kawara. 4 years ago at the contest held at the Reissinger Economics Research Center, he was the only investor who pressed hard against, of all people, Jeremy Botsman. It was quite a flattering introduction, but there was one thing that caught my attention. Jeremy Botsman. Goodness, did you not know? About what? I believe he was named Mr. Huh? Wasn't he Troche or something like that? Mr. Lozenge. Apparently he had caught a cold at that time. It was quite the tale. Yeah. I want to say the name was Troche, but I guess they may have mistranslated it or something. That one I was not actually expecting. That change, that is. He left incredible results during the contest. If Barton's information is correct, he was a Terran super elite. Even now, he's considered one of the gods of the stock market. Oh yeah, Chris had said something like that. Are you familiar with a company named Avalon? Not at all. I had a feeling I'd heard it before, but I was not sure. It's a conglomerate corporation, the largest electric utility provider on the lunar surface. Recently, it acquired various infrastructure-related subsidiaries. Down with Emerald Industries. When Marco said that, Legoff sighed as Eleanor smiled. Finally, I recalled it from my memories. It probably had slipped into my sight from either the TV or a newspaper. Emerald Industries, which had pretty much completely taken over the man-made lunar capital by force, was being challenged by this company in a David versus Goliath story. Exactly. Jeremy Botsman is one of the three heads of Avalon. At 26, he acts as both the CIO and CTO for this company, whose profits reach as high as the 40 billions. As to be expected on the lunar surface, you could say. So, I don't actually know if this is supposed to be like Chief Investment and Chief Trading Officer, or if those actually mean something else. Like, this is my first time actually hearing those. I've heard of CEO, COO, CFO, but not CIO or CTO. Ah, right there it tells you. Chief Investment Officer and Chief Technology Officer. Anyone able to pursue him would certainly have to perform magnificently in the financial sector. For the last 2 years since the start of the investment boom, everyone has been frantic to find him, but none have been able to discover his whereabouts. Your phone was no longer reachable, the brokerage account you were using had been closed, and all records were lost from the company merger. I heard from Chris that I was a missing person. The world is mysterious like that. Last year when I chanced upon meeting Chris, I thought it was the will of God when I learned of Haru. You were even praying at Reese's church. Yes, the lunar surface lacks proper churches, so it was a godsend. Madam, given the time, should you not move to the topic at hand? Goodness, my apologies. Well then, Haru, have you gone over the contract stipulations? Yeah, 100,000 moles annually, also entitled to 20% of the collective exchange profits. However, when in a deficit, no bonus will be paid out. It's quite the ideal monetary incentive, but... I stopped abruptly and looked over at Eleanor. She tilted her head to the side and smiled, then immediately said, "You are curious as to my personal objective." Eleanor was the leader here. If Eleanor had a goal, then everyone below her would have taken that to heart. The only thing I could do was make money, and I doubted I could help if she was trying to reclaim her company or rebuild it from scratch. You need not worry about that at all. If I could just have you perform to invest and raise capital, then my objective will be fulfilled naturally. Understood. Are there any other points which concern you? The way she asked almost had me chuckling. However, there were a few points of concern in this contract that kept me from nodding my head yes. I'd like to know the company's structure. You are free to come and go as you please. Of course, I do not mind if you reside here either. However, you'd be sleeping under your desk. It's not that bad, actually. Margot didn't seem to be joking as he said that with a friendly smile. It did seem that they did not want to force a sudden change in someone's lifestyle. I will, however, establish an upper limit on trading amounts. I will decide in each case whether or not to sanction amounts that surpass them. Is that understood? Bogov said that in a way that allowed no argument. Yeah. Also, which types of money-making methods will I be using? Eleanor answered this question. You do things other than stocks as well? No, just confirming. I'll probably only be doing stocks. I'm rather familiar with them. I feel that is best. Familiar with the stock exchange. That was 4 years ago. I'm not sure I'd be useful in this day and age. I was concerned, but I had just as much feeling of anticipation as I did worry. I felt Marco's gaze looking up at me as I thought that. Those eyes, as if he were looking up at the sports star he idolized. I raised up the corners of my mouth with my fingers in the shape of a smile. Marco's shoulders shot up, but his mouth was twitching as if questions would start streaming out at any moment. Is something the matter? Not at all. So how long is the probation period? What if I were to say until the end of today? Eleanor answered without hesitation. She somewhat resembled Risa in that sense. I could see in her eyes that she might not just be a frail damsel. I shrugged my shoulders and sighed. 1 month for now. I prayed swift. Thus, albeit temporarily, I began my time as a member of Schweitzer Investing. Well then, there's business I must attend to. If there's anything you need, please refer to either Legoff or Margot. Okay. You wouldn't perform a large transaction on your first day during your probation period, though, would you? Terra Standard Time right now would mean the Asian Exchange, if that is what you wish. Eleanor didn't seem to have been expecting such a retort, as she wore a mischievous grin. She then closed her eyes. Seems that a 23 dinner would be just fine for you, Haru. 23? If you show fine gains, then let us all go. Madam, your vehicle awaits. Legoff spoke as he glanced at his portable terminal. Eleanor nodded in affirmation and left the room. It felt like there was a sudden drop in the pressure in the room as she left. That was probably what you would call her presence. She was talking about an expensive restaurant. I stared blankly at the door Eleanor had left through as Marco suddenly spoke up. Huh. 23. Oh. There's a place in New York called 21, you see. That popular place the guys on Wall Street go to, so there's one on the moon. When I muttered that, Marco's eyes suddenly sparkled. You know of it? Well, yeah, it comes up every so often in books. Of course, I've never been there myself. Haru's like that too? That makes me happy. For a moment, I didn't know what he meant by that, but I had a good idea as I looked at Marco, who would have been wagging his tail like a puppy if he had one. A flat cap and light brown vest, a plaid shirt and dark brown pants with loafers. I shrugged and decided to ask. Isn't that outfit you're wearing from Terra? Oh. I sighed when I saw that Marco couldn't hold back how happy he was at being asked that. I was a little offended by Terra favoring Terran tramps, and even more so by lunar punks who did the same. But it was this thorough, I found it rather adorable. American immigrants laugh at me and take pictures. I won't comment on people's tastes, but I'm not like that. I just happen to know about 21. What? I just like the history and stories about finance. But you know about this outfit and what it means. Well, I'd say I think I know more about it than Chris. I turned my attention over towards Chris, who was listening in our conversation absent-mindedly. She gave a nervous little jolt. Chris is much more of a lunar punk than I am. I get what you're trying to say. What is it? It's nothing. This guy is Terranized, or rather, he's retrified. Marco appeared displeased with that and showed it by adjusting his flat cap with both hands, just like a kid out of an old movie. More importantly, what should I be doing first? There are terminals if you need them. As soon as we moved to a topic she understood, Chris jumped right in. It's not that. I haven't looked at the market in 4 years. If you want the Schrodinger Street Journal, we have a paid subscription so you can see the backlog for a few years. Marco replied as he opened his terminal. It was probably his desk. On top of that desk was a desktop clock and letter opener, also a pen stand and inkwell. I felt that he had been influenced by Legoff, but I also thought he was trying too hard. Where's the Daily Post? We have it, but it's general news. Businessmen should only be reading business newspapers. When I said that, Marco blinked and nodded as if he had an epiphany. I felt like I was looking at myself from 4 years ago as Marco punched a few keys on his terminal that gave me the chair. You can see up to 10 years ago. Thanks. When I sat in Marco's chair, he stared intently at the terminal from one side. He did this so as not to miss a single thing I did. But I wasn't thinking of Marco at all at the moment. I took a deep breath in and let it out. I felt a familiar tension when it came to returning to the investing sector. After that, the only thing I did was read over the headlines for each week. Those headlines were, of course, those which the Lunarians felt were important, and were meant to be uplifting. 4 years ago, there were lots of articles on the large-scale renovations of the first lunar city. Suspicions of bribery by Emerald Industries, and articles asking if they were in violation of antitrust laws related to said renovations. Of course, what happened in the 6th Outer District, where we were, wasn't even mentioned. After the commotion reached a breaking point, it just became a tiny article about the problems with the influx of immigrants. It came up during the presidential election, but since no one really liked the government, the whole affair was forgotten. The topics were in a loop. Development, influx of immigrants, problems arise. Development, influx of immigrants, problems arise. Other popular topics regarding the stability of the lunar government versus Terra's included a peculiar murder case, an accident on the space elevator, and the health problems of people returning to Terra after a long stay on the moon. So to go on a bit of a tangent here, in case you're wondering about the whole health problem thing, that actually is a real thing, kind of. Since we don't actually have any lunar settlements to verify this, we kind of have to use the International Space Station and other space projects as a reference. But since the moon has 1/6 the gravity of Earth, people, like, their bodies will adapt. And as such, when they return to the Earth and they're back under 6 times gravity compared to what they're used to, they may not be able to move around as well. They may not even be able to walk on their own. I can't remember what that one space program was, but when the astronauts came back to Earth, they were unable to walk. They had to be shuttled around in wheelchairs and stuff. This is kind of what he's talking about. But beyond the whole walking thing, there actually are cardiovascular problems that can arise due to changes in gravity. So it can be a very, very serious thing. A certain research institute reported findings that the muscles of elderly people who spent long periods in low gravity couldn't cope with life on Terra. As I was saying just a second ago, muscles, this will include, like, digestive stuff, it could involve heart, it can involve lungs. It's not just the skeletal muscles. Hey! So, yeah, if you had any doubts, I kinda like this game. It answers the questions that I've had, and then it also verifies what I've been saying. So in particular, there were respiratory issues, which one reports that could be fatal, which is true in real life. Since there are few elderly people spending long periods on the moon, there were no incidents of such deaths on Terra. The commotion ended after a while. At that time, I probably thought nothing of it. The energy crisis began receiving coverage around last year, and Avalon's name appeared around then. Avalon was founded 10 years ago, seeming to slip through the gaps of regulations as an independent energy company. Their corporate history said they became larger with buyouts and payouts, finally becoming a David to Emerald Industries' Goliath. Half of the top headlines last year covered Jeremy Botsman, who was young even by lunar surface standards, being employed as Avalon's CIO and CTO, which had a profit of over $30 billion. According to Eleanor, their profits were already over $40 billion. At that point, the Avalon brand was showing the highest yields on the stock exchange. It was a brand that made everyone happy, with its high yields begetting high yields. Then, after that, most of the headline articles were about the booming stock exchange. The people not participating? Were they fools? Or were the fools the guys engrossed in it? There were many top headlines with the presidents and banking representatives in talks regarding market regulations. There was the completion ceremony of the third lunar city and an announcement, start of the fourth lunar city. An article stating that there were over 500,000 residential houses. Right after that, a crisis with lower-income residences, and the first demonstration ever on the lunar surface with the slogan, "Give us homes." But that died down quickly, as the next article is about someone residing on the lunar surface having the highest salary of all of humanity, at a record-breaking $3.2 billion. It may be relevant, as the Pope of the Catholic Church on Terra had criticized the moon as a land of green and an encyclical. By the way, real quick, if you don't know what an encyclical is, it's just a letter that the Pope sends out. That's really the best way to describe it. It can be literally about anything. So in this case, he was talking some smack about the moon. Next, the government announced prosperity that was unprecedented as far back as statistics were kept. Rash of immigration, increased poverty, cabinet meeting to revise the taxation system, then the revision taken into effect, and from last month, a caption saying that the lunar surface had more wealthy people than anywhere on Terra. I mostly just read the headlines and looked at the photos without reading much of the story itself, so 10 years worth of reading didn't take long. The gravity on the lunar surface was 1/6 that of Terra, so it said that things on the moon proceeded 6 times the speed of Terra. When all I did was read the headlines, it did feel that way. Given the breakneck speed at which the lunar surface moved, uncovering welfare institution application frauds in a government office really did seem pointless and futile. This was a relatively serious paper, so the more sensational ones would likely be making the whole thing into a spectacle for people to squabble over. Not to mention that if the Schrödinger Street Journal did the same thing, it'd just cause eye irritation. In any case, it really wasn't hard to pick up the gist of the market, even though I'd stayed out for so long. For the past 4 years, I've been living with my head buried in the sand. I picked up some information, and now it was obvious how the stock exchange was doing, from how grand these newspaper headlines were. If I were to use a phrase from Marco's lexicon, I'd say, welcome to the Golden Age. So, This is the way to do it. Hmm? That was 100 times more interesting than history class in school. It seemed this weird, retrified boy was able to pick up on what I was doing rather quickly. Be objective is Eleanor's favorite saying. Only if you're able to do this while you're neck deep in the market. Is it difficult? It was. The farther down I delved, the narrower my sight became. Then, with my needle-wide vision in the whirling situation, I didn't even question the validity of one or two things I thought up and acted on. Presence of mind, serene with clarity. When I returned home, my usually light-tipped father hit me with those words instead of his fist. I think this is Haru talking. I probably wouldn't be able to understand what that meant, even if I spent my entire life trying. Well, one swallow does not a summer make, or one hot day, for all that matter. Huh? It all depends on your dedication. I'm not familiar with either swallows or summer, though. It's just that I don't want to mess up again like I did in the past. That's my only concern. I could tell that Chris was feeling uneasy watching Marco innocently asking me questions as I answered them. Even still, I continued to flick smoothly through the articles on the terminal with my right hand. Haru, why did you quit investing? He blurted it as soon as it came to him. I believe it's a privilege of being young to be filled with curiosity. When I pushed up the corners of my mouth into a grin, Marco seemed to gasp in revelation. Sorry. I'll tell you about it when I'm feeling more inclined. I let Chris see my shrugging shoulders as she looked in my direction, worried by my words. Oh yeah, Chris. Yes? Chris, who was looking over at me, jolted up straight as I called out to her. I'd like to see your investment data. What? Chris's blue eyes behind her round glasses became even rounder. Well, it's a bit embarrassing, actually. Chris shrank down as she looked at me. This made me pretty sure she wasn't joking. Only a fellow investor can understand how embarrassing it is to show someone else your investment data. However, Chris was using the program I got her created, so I can use it as a basement for my investing choices. So it was necessary that I see it. I heard that you had good results. I want to see how my choices from back then held up in today's market. Chris looked away. The look on her face said she wanted to say no. If it's a secret, then that's fine. No, okay. I'd like you to put the transaction records here. Saying that, I took out my personal terminal from work out of my bag and handed it over to Chris. The reason I said so businesslike was because I understood why she was being so hesitant. It's strange, but showing someone your stock transaction portfolio was quite embarrassing. Unless you're an infallible genius, then undoubtedly you'd have mistakes here and there. Also, the more earnestly one invested, the less of a simple mistake it became. Normally you buy stock when you believe your judgment is correct, so those mistakes were proof of your judgment being wrong. Also, you could look back more than once and clutch your head, wondering how you made that mistake. Fooled by your greed and bought too much, ruled by your fears and sold too much. Those were all too common. In other words, it was an expression of all your feelings and skills. While the data was being transmitted wirelessly, she held her hands between her legs and squirmed about. That data was a record of the feelings and ideas Chris had, what mistakes she made, what results of her choices. When Barton looked over my transaction history, he said, "They were good transactions. I could feel your determination in them." I understood quite well that people who got angry when someone said something. Jeez. I understood quite well that people who got angry when someone said that stock trading was a gamble. It wasn't a problem with the statistical probability of stocks. You tried to outwit others with your own expectations. It was a challenge. Please don't laugh. Chris said that as the data transfer finished. You're looking more embarrassed than if I'd asked to see your panties. I shrugged my shoulders at Chris, who was now understandably beet red, and then looked at Marco besides me. Is Chris wearing embarrassing panties? No, I'm not. Marco was quick on the uptake. I showed I was laughing by jostling my shoulders up and down in place of my unmoving face. Chris pouted, turning away, and gave Marco a wide, toothy laugh. As we were doing all this, the door opened and Legoff returned. become quite lively. From his manner and outfit, it sounded like scorn, but it seemed as if he meant no ill will. However, as the Chief Executive Ethics Officer, I cannot overlook sexual harassment. It was a perfectly reasonable concern, but his all-too-serious behavior made the forgotten rebel inside me from 4 years ago rear his head. I thought it was important information, in case I were to invest in an underwear manufacturer. Did I not mention that from the start? Mention what? I won't allow you to invest in companies dealing in dangerous weapons. I was dumbfounded. Legoff flicked back his silver hair and clapped his hands together after returning to his stoic expression. Marco, stop laughing. Have you completed your duties? No. Madam has exceptional expectations for you. Do not disappoint. Okay. He straightened up and responded right away. Then he urged me to stand with you, saying, well, that's how it goes. Of course, I followed along since it was his chair. Marco then pulled out 2 more terminals from the drawer and turned them on. What will you both be having? What? Ah, no, going home. Chris answered almost immediately. Legoff nodded and Chris closed her terminal. Shall we go to the church? Chris invited me along as Legoff was on the phone placing an order for delivery, eating then working even more at this hour. It wasn't that uncommon on the lunar surface, and there were probably few places that exist which surpassed Schrodinger's Street when it came to overworking. Except this was very different from work at the government agency, and neither Marco nor Legoff appeared disturbed by it. This was somewhat promising, which made me feel a bit lighthearted. What is it? After saying goodbyes and leaving the room, Chris asked that as we walked down the dim corridor. Nothing at all. Chris seemed displeased with my evasiveness when I answered with that, but it only lasted up until I took out my terminal. Yeah, this one is a lot different from the first game. Are you really going to look at it? She was talking about her transaction records. You're really bad at giving up. We originally made this program, right? If there are mistakes, then it should be me who's embarrassed. Well, that's true, it's just... I won't be surprised at how audacious you've been either. Jeez. Chris pushed both of her hands against her shaggy blonde hair as if holding on to it. When we got onto the elevator, she spoke in a small voice next to me as the data loaded. But it could be really shocking. That's everything Miss Hagana and you had put together. When I looked down at Chris, who was at my left side, she looked up at me. So, to make sure you don't have an episode... Saying that, she wrapped her arm lightly around my arm that held my crutch. She turned aside and looked down. Her ears were red to their tips. Chris said that she wanted to live however she wants. It could be that she just hates how she was such a late bloomer. Or it could be that she doesn't mind that I still can't forget about Hagana. Whatever it may be, I believe she has the courage. I tried not to sigh as I cleared my throat. Being as discreet as possible, I said. Hey. Yes? My hands are full, so can you press the keys? I turned the terminal towards Chris, and she used her free hand, the one not wrapped around my left hand, and pressed the buttons timidly. Until we reached the church, neither of us spoke much at all. It seemed that Chris was too apprehensive to hold hands with a guy in public, and I wasn't much for that either. Chris had been using the program Hagana developed for investing, but the data was just as shocking as Chris made it out to be. If someone without any knowledge of it were to look at this, it wouldn't look like anything more than rows of numbers. Ticker symbols, stock price, number of stocks, profit/loss. If I were to condense it and summarize the data, it'd be sufficient to just have the number of stocks and profit/loss in 2 sections. Still, there was a hefty amount of data. Looking at the trading times, it went from a few seconds to at most 10 minutes, then ended. Chris's method was typical program-based trading, employing a calculation capacity that far exceeded that of humans to gather up change. It looked like the ticker was just spitting out random data about stock prices and amounts being traded in the hundreds and thousands every day. But amongst all that, there was one number that made some sense. that was the profit loss. Just by scrolling down, you could see the data in that column increase fascinatingly. By dragging down on the screen, it was easy to see that the profits were swelling up. Current value, positive 1.4 million moles. Capital was 2 million moles from a half a year ago. I thought I was off a digit, but the numbers were right. Of course, the money probably wasn't Chris's. Eleanor likely supplied it. Chris may have been a math whiz, but she was still a matter. But this was still a matter of entrusting 2 million moles to a 16-year-old girl. It was just as Risa had said. This wasn't a game. Eleanor and the others were the real deal and were very serious about it. Also, by looking at these numbers, I understood how Chris was able to find the courage to take a bold leap forward. If I were to add her base yearly salary to 20% of the profits, then Chris would suddenly have the same income as the rest of the residents of the lunar surface. The money I barely managed to scrape together trying to extend my hand to the ends of the world didn't even come close. This was what happened when a driven genius who can skip grades and get into Lunar City University applied herself. If I was given 2 million moles back 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to do this well. The bigger things get, the tougher it was to motivate oneself. I learned that firsthand during the investment contest. To move something large, you needed a large tool. I was just then coming to realize how mediocre I was, while at the same time feeling a bit of affection for the oblivious Haru 4 years ago. But I was not mortified. Instead, I was honestly enthralled by looking at the footprints Chris's abilities left in her path. Haru. I came to my senses when I was called out to and looked up. I realized that the potato nachi I had held in my chopsticks had fallen on the table. I'm well aware that my face doesn't move, but it still grimaces as I picked the nachi back up and ate it. Simmered al dente and cream. Delicious. This dinner probably came from Chris's cut of the donations. Back when it was me and Hagana, food was mostly from Risa's part-time job that she brought back with her. Haru? I couldn't ignore being scolded a second time. Understood. And what would be? When Risa asked me that, I shrugged my shoulders and answered, "Don't look while eating." Yeah, I think that's supposed to be, what would that be? Then turned it off. Risa said that bluntly after seeing that I hadn't given up, placing it nearby with the screen still on. This was how you taught manners to children, but I didn't feel like it was necessarily wrong for her to employ that method now. Because this data had rocked me hard, in a way I've forgotten about for these past 4 years. Like catnip to a cat. When Risa muttered that, Chris tilted her head with a fork stuck in her mouth instead of chopsticks. Chris, your fork. Still haven't gotten over that habit of sticking things in your mouth, it seems. I'm sorry. Cats, you see, they get intoxicated by a plant called catnip. You didn't know? Unless it's on a test, I usually don't know it. Oh-ho. I'll bet you never had to take a test on modesty, but you sure got it. So it's fine. Cats, you see, they get like this when you give them catnip. Risa motioned over to me with her chin as she ate a pickled olive. Catnip is similar to this olive, actually. Cats glue their eyes to it if they see it. Drool just seeps out, really. Drooling all over, going meow meow, purr purr. You can't smack them on the head or pull their tail. Only thing you can do is snatch it away like this. Risa snatched at the terminal I was glancing down at restlessly. My eyes chased after the terminal just like a cat would, and my sight finally dropped to Risa. I squirmed awkwardly as I ate the macaroni. Was he like this on the way here as well? Huh. Chris looked at me, then regretfully gave a small nod. Seriously, even with how few cars there are on the lunar surface, you'd get into an accident. Risa sighed and I hung my head. Chris looked back and forth between me and Risa, and after hesitating a few moments, ended up asking, "Was it like this back then?" Risa glanced over at Chris, then looked at me with an icy glare that hovered somewhere between scornful and dejected. Then she answered, "Yeah, exactly like this. Actually, he was a disobedient little brat back then, completely full of himself. Every meal, even. He stuffed everything he could into that rude mouth of his. Then it was just like, yeah, I ate, yeah, I'm done. I got pretty sick of it. Chris tried not to laugh, but a small chuckle escaped right at the end. She tried to cover it up by rubbing her nose. Boys never grow up. After Risa said that, she let out a big sigh. As I listened to the sound of tableware being washed, I was gazing at Chris's data as per usual. I began looking deeper into the data after understanding the general trend of the wildly dancing lines of numbers. The criteria for industry selection, value selection determination, and the most important, and that which caused the most trouble for Hagana, the sale time. It wasn't that Chris's investment data was amazing, rather it was very pleasant. Right before my eyes, I could watch everything running smoothly and say what I thought. Things I'd only been able to make out faintly before seemed like they were being struck by a spotlight, and even now it seemed like they could jump out right at me. I felt that 4 years ago, even though it was only briefly, Hagana and I saw heart to heart. We literally were eating and sleeping together, revealing everything we felt and thought. It couldn't have been my delusions. Except there was a sheen to it now. The program that Chris was using had been polished to a shine. I supplied the iron, Hagana smithed it, and Chris had polished it. Just as Chris had said, there was a lot of influence from Hagana, of course. A number of the evaluation criteria, which seemed similar to how they'd been before, had come about via bickering with Hagana and that hard head of hers. Your meaning escapes me, and say it more clearly. Are you an idiot? It was almost as if I could hear those words from her even now. However, that's not what I felt from Chris's program. It wasn't Hagana's tone specifically. It was just influenced by Hagana, showing only her awkwardness and immaturity. Chris saying it might be shocking may have just been her way of bragging, confidence in being the next generation. I've been flicking through the data a lot. Maybe that was why I felt a slight cramp in my right hand. It'd be nice. When I was spoken to unexpectedly, my gaze turned in the direction of the voice. It was Risa drying off her hands. Not that there was anyone else there. If you got over that bad habit... Bad habit? You're thinking about Hagana, aren't you? That bad habit of looking at your right hand. It's become a bad habit? Well, yeah. Also, when you look at your right hand, it doesn't feel like you're looking at your right hand. It's like you're looking at something bizarre. Something horrifying. Like you're looking at something you can't control. It's easy to tell. That's the first time you've ever said that. Of course it is. Risa gave a wry smile. When she finished drying her hands, she removed the cord that held back her sleeves of her habit, then sighed. Oh boy. Wasn't something I could really say. It would have been too harsh. Now is fine? Well, better now. As Risa spoke, she opened the cupboard and rustled through it. She took in a brown bottle. 4 years ago, I only knew that it was alcohol, but by now, I had learned it was called brandy. Have a drink? I'm still a kid. So that's a yes. That spiteful remark was aimed at me of 4 years ago and how I always aimed too high. I shrugged my shoulders, which caused Risa to chuckle in delight. Don't need it. I know. Risa put a small amount into her glass, then closed the bottle. Then, without even sitting in a chair, she gulped the whole thing down. That's not the sort of behavior I expect from a nun. Well, we're on the moon. You almost had me smiling there. Whoops, went too hard. Risa said that without a trace of feeling or emotion as she opened the bottle immediately, pouring more in than last time. Hey kid, this is just fine actually. This liquor is to drink away the pain. Drink away the pain? Yep. A lamb so badly injured it couldn't even walk straight without my support, praise, and assistance was finally able to walk on its own feet again, and left, you know. Enough of that. Seems like you'd forget in a heartbeat unless I reminded you. I ain't forgetting. When those words, which I'd said so often 4 years ago, came out of my mouth, it made me gasp. Risa looked at me as I did that and lowered her eyelids affectionately. I know. But when you're looking at that terminal, you look like a little boy looking at a treasure map. If I were to go over there and give you a big hug, it feels like you'd say, "Shut up, let go, Grandma," doesn't it? Risa was probably able to pick up how disdained my expression was beneath my emotionless face. Her shoulders were now shaking as she laughed. but I might be open to lying on your lap. I said that just to strike back with something, and it caused Risa to look surprised. Even so, as though guided by the law of inertia, a smile crept over her face. She then swirled the glass, even though there was no ice in, and spoke as she looked into it. You can lie on someone's lap whenever you come up with a reason, can't you? Oh, you're right. Sheesh, don't be so impressed by that. But it might be a bad idea to let you lie in my lap. What? I want to stay on good terms with Chris. It truly felt like this time my face would shift out of disdain. The smile left Risa's face suddenly as I looked at her. The eyes she looked at me with were piercing. Didn't you notice? What? That thing you're looking at, it's Chris's investments, right? The way Risa spoke when she showed she had no interest in it, but I nodded from the presence. Chris has been by your side that entire time you were fixated on it, wasn't she? Yeah. Did you see the look on her face? I panicked upon being asked and searched through my memory, but came up with nothing. Like, for example, Chris would be by your side, and every time you took a deep breath or shifted, she was waiting for it. Waiting for what? Waiting for it. Don't you understand? No. Honestly, listen. She was expecting to hear something from me like, wow, or whoa, or no way. I was dumbfounded. My gaze moved reflexively toward the bathroom, over to where Chris was taking a shower. She wasn't the type like Agata who could go in and out of there naked without batting an eyelid, so it would probably be a while before she came back out. Anyway, a word? Yeah. When she comes back out, you need to say something, got it? Yeah. Honestly, just watching that was pulling at my heartstrings. After voicing her complaints, she swirled the brandy again. But well, I'm really glad things are going well. Things? Looks like you're enjoying yourself. I looked down at the terminal in my hand when Risa said that. It's true, I was so terrified of the market, yet when tossed this data, even eating became a chore for me. But I was different from how I was 4 years ago. If I were to say I'd grown, then it would be this. Looking in from outside and being on the inside are different. If I still think things are fun when I'm putting money on the line, then I really will come here to thank you. If it's not? If it's not, well, then I want you to save me as I suffer, praise me, and support me. Seems sort of pointless to look after you, then. Then it means I'll need to grow up. I took the glass from Risa and drank a bit of the alcohol. I wasn't brought to Risa's room to drink very often back 4 years ago, but I still just didn't like the intensity of hard liquor. It's just weird to think such harsh stuff is good. It also gets you drunk. You're completely that type, aren't you? When I said that, Risa took the glass back from me and drank a bit of it. Then she dug into her bosom and pulled out her rosary. The Lord bestows this ordeal upon me. It'd be better if you didn't have it. Think so? Yeah, because not all people can shake off those demonic beckonings. My expressionless wasn't from the paralysis this time. I came by it honestly. I looked into her green eyes, of course. Risa didn't look away at all. The fact that she still had those soft, gentle eyes made me think she was incredible. Risa extended her hand slightly, touching my bangs, then caressed my cheek. By knowing that, you may really be able to save those touched by the devil. But I won't be saved. Agana disappeared and couldn't be found. What if she came back? Thinking that raised my heart again after these 4 years, but the hand I wanted to hold wasn't there. The fact that I was projecting on Risa wasn't anger so much as just wanting to be spoiled. Risa knew this too. It's impossible as long as you believe you can't be. She said those cold, forsaking words with a smile. It was at times like that that I really felt fortunate to have met Risa. I'll take that to heart. I'd love you to take to heart the joy of proper table manners while you're at it. Sorry. That was the only thing I didn't try to refute or joke about. Risa flipped my bangs, then picked up the bottle of brandy and stood up. But it isn't wrong. Huh? If one believes God does not exist, then even if he were here if he were to appear before you, then you wouldn't think it was him. In that sense, the world is formed around the desires of the individual. Those of faith find salvation. That is what those words mean. So even if it's true that Hagana isn't here, the world you see is completely different depending on whether or not you think she'll come back. I couldn't even register it as being agonizing. Risa. What is it? It's almost like you're a nun or something. Well? When Risa glared, I showed that I was trying to give a little payback by raising up the corners of my mouth with my fingers. Risa gave a sheesh as she stood up and put the liquor back into the cupboard. As she did, the sound of a door opening could be heard from over towards the shower room. Chris came out fluttering the twisted hem up of her rather thin skirt, which was probably her pajamas, and recalled quickly that I was there. Frantically, she let go of the hem and wiped her face with her towel in a fluster. You're still here. Chris blurted out her excuse with a weak smile as Risa, the manager of morality, slumped her shoulders in dejection. I was thinking I should be getting back. I could tell that Risa was glancing over at me, but I certainly wasn't that stupid. There's something I wanted to ask. What would that be? It's improved upon quite amazingly. There's a lot I want you to teach me. Of course. Chris squealed with glee on her face that sparkled as brightly as freshly washed golden hair. Just when Risa was passing by on her way to the entrance, she took the towel on Chris's shoulders and gently moved it over to drop over her chest. Before that, can you change? This might be what she was used to wearing, but a thin shirt could never completely cover a blossoming woman. Chris went into a panic, not knowing what to do. She ended up dashing off into her room as Risa instructed. Why are all the girls who come here like that, I wonder? Isn't it because of you? She appeared quite subdued, but I did think Risa wasn't really bothered by small stuff. I'd often see her come out of the washroom, exposed shoulders, going to get a drink of water. I want to refute that, but a few things come to mind. I think it's great that they're like you, though. Not bad. Risa pointed at me, then sighed, going to the door. Watching Risa leave like that, Chris returned after having just thrown something on, not even wiping the sweat off from her from the shower. So, Hagana, or she is sometimes called Hanaga, was like this 4 years ago. She was in the midst of writing the stock program. She'd jump out of the bathroom, not even caring if she were naked or not, if she came up with something. With that in mind, Chris was timid and easily ashamed, so she was still classifiable as a sensible girl who was easy to get along with. Her frame was also a bit different from Hagana's delicate and malnourished form. The sweet aroma of soap from her freshly washed body filled the air, and it might have been from her damp hair, but her face looked more mature, and so attractive that it was hard to reconcile her appearance with that of her muscle-bound father. If only I hadn't met Hagana. I wasn't completely without those thoughts. But it's truly because Hagana was there that Chris thought of me like that. Turns out one of the reasons was that she'd seen Hagana and me so engrossed in what we were doing. The world never ran that smoothly. Even now, as someone who's gotten a little older, I'm open-minded enough to cover the naked truth. I'm off tomorrow. I won't be going back that soon, so you don't need to rush. As I said that, a droplet fell from Chris's bangs. She stared blankly for a moment, then laughed sheepishly.